Happy New Year. Happy New Year. It's another year. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. Happy New Happy New Year. I'm getting ready to go out this new year on 2Samuel, the 3rd chapter. Happy New Year, everybody. God has allowed this word to be open for me a whole year. One chapter. Anyway, I'm not getting ready to play the piano. That's not what I'm getting ready to do. I'm getting ready to eat out of 2 Samuel, the 3rd chapter. Father, we thank you today for your word. Thank you for just being a good year. That every single day you have allowed me to wake up to share the word, one chapter. And we are here in 2 Samuel, the 3rd chapter. Exactly where I ought to be for my daily bread. That's a good place to be in. Being regular with God, on date. Like he's my trainer, and he said, you're a good student because you showed up to class every day. No, it's that you are a good God. And that's the reason I showed up every day. Because of who you are. And God, I know, me being happy to be here because it's you. And you're the reason why I got a whole year, 365 times to share the word. One chapter. This time last year, I was in Galatians. I looked at it this morning. And this time this year, I am in 2 Samuel, the 3rd chapter. And thank you for your word. And you have allowed me to breathe, to move, and get an understanding. I celebrate you one whole year that I can say you have been faithful to me in my house. And thank you for your forgiveness and all you've done. Not only did you forgive us, you left us a copy of your understanding, your head. And all we got to do is get in the book and read it. Lord, I hope I look like you. I want to look like you. That's why I want to hang around you so I can say, girl, you've been hanging out with God. That's what I want. I appreciate you in all of your understanding. I get excited. In Jesus' name I pray, amen. That's where I am today. In 2 Samuel chapter 3. Okay. Where were we? Anything that I want to share with you before I get into the word? I just hope everybody be safe, and I pray that God will allow me to have a safe night without a lot of disturbance from gunshots and people being hurt. I pray over your family. I pray over my family. And I pray that God will just let his presence be known and stand up against anything that the enemy has planned. I am in 2 Samuel, as I've said, the 3rd chapter, and I'm getting ready to read. All right, yeah, last night, yesterday we talked about the servants of David. What happened yesterday? There was a fight, an unnecessary fight in a civil war within with the children of Israel. God brought these people all the way from Egypt, and then hundreds of years later, they are fighting because the further you get away from God, the more fights you have amongst yourself. So that's what 2 Samuel, the 3rd chapter, is saying. That David is the king, and his Judah and everybody else against Judah, against the other 11. They unnecessary fighting. That's what we do. We have unnecessary fighting within ourselves, which is not wise. So now we're leaving the unnecessary fighting that they did. Let's see what happened today according to chapter 3. I didn't clean my glasses, y'all. And I can't hardly see without them. All right, let's get in here and see. Now there was a long war between the house of Saul. I am in chapter 3 of 2 Samuel. There was a long war. In other words, there was wars between Saul and the house of David a long time. Oh, Lord. Between the house of Saul and the house of David. But David waxed stronger and stronger. So there was a fight, but David, God had his hand upon his assignment for David. And the house, he said, it was, oh Lord, I got to put my glasses on, y'all, I can't hardly see. Now there was a long war between the house of Saul. Abner was basically over the house of Saul, even though he had Saul's son acting as a prop. But Abner being the head of the army, he couldn't do what he wanted to do unless Saul's son was standing there as a prop saying, okay, he could do this because I'm here to represent that I am king, but I'm a weak person. And Abner is the one that's controlling things. So there was a long war between the house of Saul and the house of David. But David waxed stronger and stronger, and the house of Saul waxed weaker and weaker. Because it was never God's will for them to even be in existence like that. And unto David were sons born in Hebron. And his firstborn was Amnon of Ahinoam, the Jezreelite. And his second, Chileab of Abigail, the wife of Nabal, the Carmelite. And the third son was Absalom, the son of Maacah, the daughter of Talmai, king of Geshur. And the fourth, Adoniah, the son of Haggith. And the fifth, Shephatiah, the son of Abital. And he had a child 6, another boy, Ithream by Eglah, David's wife. These were born to David in Hebron. So David had 6 wives, and he had 1 son recorded by each one of them. They didn't count the daughters, but they counted the sons. And it came to pass while there was war between the house of Saul and the house of David, that Abner made himself strong for the house of Saul. So Abner, being the chief person over the army, he made himself strong. So he gave himself more authority. And it came to pass while there was war between the house of Saul and the house of David, that Abner made himself strong for the house of Saul. And Saul had, when he was alive, he had a concubine. That's a lady that he slept with that was not his wife. It was somebody extra, whose name was Rizpah, the daughter of Aiah. And Ishbosheth said to Abner, wherefore have you gone into my daddy's concubine? So Ishbosheth being Saul's son, Saul is dead, and Ishbosheth was supposed to be the king, but Abner was running things. I think this man, they said, perhaps was one of Saul's concubine sons. So he didn't have a whole lot of recognition while Saul was alive. So Ishbosheth said to Abner, so how come you been sleeping with my daddy's concubine? Then was Abner very wroth for the words of Ishbosheth, and said, Am I a dog's head, which against Judah do show kindness this day unto the house of Saul your father? In other words, what you ask me? What you accuse me of? He said, am I a dog's head? I mean, are you talking to me? This is Abner talking to the king, supposedly king, the weak king. He said, I showed kindness this day unto the house of Saul your father, to his brothers, and to his friends, and have not delivered you into the hand of David, that you charge me today with a fault concerning this woman. You bringing charges against me? And I've been fighting and leading people against David, and you bringing charges against me and saying I slept with your dad's concubine? He didn't deny it. He just acted as if to say, you bringing an accusation against me that can you really prove? In other words, after all I've done to you, you come up to me asking me something like that? Now, it doesn't mean that he didn't do it. It's just saying that's what he said. So Abner said to the king, so do God to Abner, and more also, except as the Lord has sworn to David, even so I do to him. In other words, you ain't getting ready to be king no more. I'm firing you. I'm the head of the army. To translate the kingdom from the house of Saul and to set it up to the throne of David over Israel and over Judah, and from Dan ever to Beersheba. He said, I'm getting ready to take the kingdom out of your hand and give it to This is the guy that's supposed to be working for the king. And he took the king's power and told the king to get back out the way. You are not king anymore today. Goodbye. He said, I brought you in and I'll take you out. And I'm going to give it to David. That's who's supposed to have it anyway. And Abner and the king, Saul's son, Ishbosheth, said, oops. I shouldn't have said that. I made him mad. I made him mad. He could not answer Abner a word again because he feared him. You made the king lose his authority to speak or want to speak, or he got scared of you. And Abner sent messengers to David on his behalf. Now he's going to take the king's authority. Saying, who is the lad? Saying, make your league with me, and behold, my hand shall be with you to bring about all Israel unto you. He's going to take the king's authority to write this letter to David. And he told David, we are getting ready to submit to you. And he said, well, I will make a league with you, but one thing I require of you, this is what David said, that is, you shall not see my face, except you first bring Michal, Saul's daughter, when you come to see my face. All right, you want me to be king over y'all? Then give me my wife back, the one that Saul took while he was alive. Tell Michal I want her back. And David sent messengers to Ishbosheth, thinking that's who wrote the letter, Saul's son, saying, deliver me my wife, Michal, which I espoused to me for 100 foreskins of the Philistines. I killed for that girl. And Ishbosheth sent and took her from her husband. That king said David wanted his wife back. He wanted Michal back. The man said, no. And Ishbosheth sent and took her from her husband, even from Philtil, that's his name, the son of Laish. And her husband went with her along, weeping behind her to Bahurim. David said, I just want my wife. I don't want the man she was married to. And he went with her, weeping behind her to Bahurim. Then said Abner unto him, go home, go return. And the guy backed off and went back home. So David said, I would take everything that should have been mine, but in order for me to get him my wife back, you're not going to see my face. I want my wife. And if I'm going to be king, then let's make it right. And she was married to another man, so she had to leave that man and come back to David. And the guy came walking up behind her crying, said, don't leave me, baby, don't leave me, baby. And then Abner being the one in charge, making all these calls, tell that man, go home. And the man turned around and went home. That's interesting. And Abner had communication with the elders of Israel, saying, now this guy made him mad. And so he decided, I don't like the way you talk to me, and you the king. I don't like the way I'm the captain of the army, even though you got more authority supposedly than me, but I'm finna go talk to these elders. And Abner had communication with the elders of Israel, saying, you sought for David in times past to be king over you, didn't you? Y'all didn't like it because I told Ishbosheth to be the king. And you wanted David. And he said, now then do it. For the Lord has spoken of David, saying, by the hand of my servant David, I will save my people Israel out of the hand of the Philistines and out of the hand of all their enemies. So since you want David to be the king, now y'all can go on over there, pack your bags and let him be your king. Or just know that the Ishbosheth is no longer the king. Everything done out of spite. What's going on? And Abner also spoke in the ears of Benjamin. Well, since I did step out of line and let y'all have this boy to be king, this young man to be king, he ain't gonna be king no more. We're going to David. That's what God really is. And Abner also spoke in the ears of Benjamin. And Abner went also to speak in the ears of David in Hebron. All that seemed good to Israel. And that seemed good to the whole house of Benjamin. He said, we're getting ready to submit to you, David. Now he in David's quarters. So Abner came to David to Hebron, and 20 men with him. And David made Abner and the men that were with him a feast. David said, y'all come on in and have some dinner. Cut the lights down a little bit. Cut on some music. Abner here, how many men you got with you, Abner? He said, 20. So he had 20 men with him, and David made Abner and the men, they had something to eat, and they celebrated. And Abner said unto David, I will arise and go, and will gather all Israel unto my lord the king, that they may make a league with you. In other words, we're getting ready to have your inauguration service. And that you may reign over all that thine heart desire. In other words, here is your rest of your kingdom that I stole from you. I'm giving it back to you. Because that boy made him mad. And since I got more power than he has, he ain't finna be king. Give it back to you. And David sent Abner away, and he went in peace. There was no problem. David said, all right, go on, set everything up. And behold, the servant of David and Joab came from pursuing a troop. The servants of David and Joab came from pursuing a troop and brought in great spoil with them. So David, commander-in-chief of the army, Joab came in with a whole lot of stuff. And then Joab said, but Abner was not with David in Hebron, for he had sent him away, and he was gone in peace. When Joab and all the host that was with him were come, they told Joab, saying, Abner the son of Ner came to the king. So they Joab, let me tell you what happened. See, while you were gone, Abner been here. And Joab said, what? Abner, the one that killed my brother. My baby brother, my little brother, my brother. I don't know if he baby or what. He said, yeah, Abner came up here and he talked to David and he gone. He looked like he was happy. Joab said, you do, sir? Are you sure? He said, yeah, I'm sure, brother Joab. Abner been gone a long time. Abner the son of Ner came to the king and had sent him away, and he is gone in peace. He was just smiling. Then Joab came to the king and said, can I say, hey, David, let me talk to you. I need to talk to you. And said, what have you done? He said, what's this I hear about Abner being here and he gone? What have you done? Behold, Abner came unto you. Why is it that you have sent him away and he been gone quite a long time? What's up, David? What happened? You know Abner, the son of Ner, that he came to deceive you and to know you are going out and you're coming in, and he know all about what you do. How you let him get out of your sight? You know that man sneaky. This Joab talking about the other commander-in-chief over his army. Joab is David's commander-in-chief over David's army. And Joab came and told David, you let that boy get out of your sight. You know he just came in here to find out what's going on with you. And when Joab was come out from David, upset, he sent messengers after Abner, which brought him again from the well of Sarah. But David didn't know anything about it. David didn't know what Joab was doing. He called Abner back and said, I need to see you. He said, David, I want you to come on. Well, he probably used David's name. He just said that he came and he brought him again from the well of Sarah. But David didn't know anything about it. So David, not knowing what happened, Abner showed up. Finna go back and see what David want. Maybe he want to give me a gift. I don't know. I want to check him out. And when Abner was returned to Hebron, Joab took him aside and said, hey, Abner. And they said, yeah, man, what's up? See you back here. I need to talk to you. And Abner was returned to Hebron. Joab took him aside in the gate to speak with him quietly. And smote him there under the 5th rib that he died. He killed the guy. Need to see you in my office. Took him back in the back and killed the man. 2 strong men. Man didn't even have time to get prepared to fight and defend himself. Brought that guy back there, stuck a knife in him. He said, I did this before the Lord. He said, and when Abner returned to Hebron, Joab took him aside of the gate to speak with him quietly and smote him there under the 5th rib that he died for the blood of Asahel, his brother. He said, you killed my brother. We do you the same way. Stuck him right in the stomach where he, just like he did his little brother or his brother. And afterwards, when David heard it, he said, I and my kingdom are guiltless before the Lord forever, from the blood of Abner, the son of Ner. He said, you don't kill that man. He said, let the blood be on you and you only. You ain't bringing that junk up in here. We don't support that. Let it rest on the head of Joab and on all his father's house, and let there not fail from the house of Joab. And David pronounced a curse over this guy. And let there not fail from the house of Joab one that has an issue. You see, anybody got any issues in their body? Or that is a leper? Or that leans on a staff, get old? Or that falleth on the sword? Or that lack bread? He said, let them, everything, all what you just did to this one man, let it be done to every member of your family. So Joab and Abishai, his brother, slew Abner because he had slain their brother, Asahel, at Gibeon in the battle. David, like, wrong. That wrong, that's a different kind of wrong. The kind of wrong you just did, you took a man's life and you knew that guy can fight you. But you got him at his weakest point and you killed him. You said, man, I'm done with you as far as... And David said to Joab and to all the people that were with him, he said, I'm talking to you too, Joab. You killed that man. He said, I'm saying to you, I'm telling you what to do. And David said to Joab and to all the people that were with him, all the guys that came up with him, rend your clothes, show some respect, and gird you with sackcloth and mourn before Abner. And King David himself followed the bier, the dead body. He said, Joab, show some respect. All the guys that y'all did to this guy, show some respect. Tear your clothes. Show me that you understand I'm not playing. And they buried Abner in Hebron. And the king lifted up his voice and wept at the grave of Abner. And all the people wept. Because they saw David saying, you killed this man, even though I know he was not a righteous guy. But to take a man's life like he's absolutely nothing, no way to defend himself, he said, I'm not building a kingdom on no junk like that. And they buried Abner in Hebron, and the king lifted up his voice and wept at the grave of Abner, and all the people wept. And the king lamented over Abner and said, died Abner as a fool dies. He didn't just get up at the funeral and just be talking. He said, this man died like a fool. What does he mean by that? Your hands were not bound, your feet not put in fetters. As a man falleth before the wicked men, so fellest thou. And all the people wept again over him. He said, this guy right here died by the hand of a man who took his life as if he was a fool. And you know this guy was not a fool. You took this man, you stabbed this man in the back, basically. You tricked him. 2 strong men. You strong, Joab. Abner strong. Really, what you just did really showed more strength in Abner than you. Because you had to sneak up and get him. And you just trying to get revenge because your little brother, I say little brother, your brother run up behind that guy and the guy told him to move on. He didn't, so he stabbed him. And then you didn't like it, so now you're trying to bring foolish blood to my house. David said, no, I want this to be known. I don't be a house of a weak men taking strong men blood. I don't care what Abner did. You should not have taken his life like that. Make that man die like a rag. And your hands were not bound. He was talking over the guy's funeral. See, that's a funeral right there. You ain't just saying something. No, what happened to him? Like, what that boy named today? Emmett Till. They said, no, leave his body like it is. Let somebody see how he really died. And this is what Abner did. We ain't finna say all this wonderful thing. We finna tell you took this man's life like he didn't even exist. And when all the people came to cause David, when all the people came to cause David to eat meat, while it was yet day, David swore, saying, so do God to me, and more also, if I taste bread. He said, well, I ain't got no appetite all else. He said, give me something to eat when the sun go down. Right now, I ain't hungry. I can't stand to see a strong man, to kill another strong man, but you had to be weak enough to take him when he didn't know what you were doing. I don't have no appetite right now, David said. And all the people took notice of David, and it pleased them, as whatsoever the king did pleased all the people. So David is a good man. He got some integrity about himself. Even though we know Abner was not a good man, David still said he shouldn't have died like that. For all the people and all of Israel understood that day that it was not of the king to slay Abner, the son of Ner. So David wasn't behind that after all. David said, I kill, but when I kill, I want you to have a chance to fight me back. I ain't doing nothing behind your back. And the king said unto the servants, know you not that there is a prince and a great man fallen this day in Israel? He said, I'm going to let you know, I'm getting this man a good name. He's a prince and he was a great man and he fell in Israel. He said, I ain't finna just talk, I'm telling the truth. And he said, I'm weak. And I, this day, am weak, although I'm the king. And these men, the son, right in Abner's face. He said, right in your face. And these men, the sons of Zeruiah, y'all be too hard for me. Y'all some low down men. You low down. You still the captain of my army, but I know what I'm dealing with. You one of the most sneaky men. How you be sneaky like the Amalekites? That's something they'll do. How you bring it up in the children? We do some low down things, but at least we don't take people alive like that. David said, nah, we don't act like that. We still, but we own up to it when we do. You had to do this in the dark, and plus where you stole them is right outside the place where people run to hide when they try to get away from somebody who trying to kill them. You use this place as a place to give us a bad name like that? David said, no. He said, these men, the sons of Zeruiah, be too strong, be too hard for me. Y'all got a bad spirit. The Lord should reward the doer of evil according to his wickedness. He said, what y'all just did? I don't have enough arrows to shoot you. The electric chair, I would love to put you in the future if I could. Whatever I can do to you, David said, I'm too weak to do it. Because what you need God to handle what you just did. Kill that man like that. Wrong is wrong. That's what's wrong. And wrong is wrong. But this kind of wrong, it ain't right. Something wrong with this. David said, we do a lot of stuff, but y'all is some low down men. 2 strong men and a strong man took down another strong man. So what is God telling us to learn from this? Don't be like this. It's needless killing again. The church is out of order. But at least David called it out. And he called it what it was. And he didn't get to the funeral. I believe if you were a low-down man at David's funeral, David might have been able to find something good about you to say. Because he said some good stuff about Saul that I don't think nobody could have seen that good stuff the way Saul treated that guy. And Abner was Saul's right-hand man. But he still says it's still dignity in dying. I don't care who it is. He says dignity in dying. Because you're talking about a person that God made. And it's a way, had he been doing something to deserve or just, why you kill a man like that? That's what he said in the Joel. You just identified yourself to say that you're a low-down deacon. Anyway, y'all, I'm done. And I'm getting Happy New Year to y'all. This is 2 Samuel 3. I'm getting ready to eat 2 Samuel for y'all. Have a good day.